Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and this time we're going to try and guess whatever that big, unannounced secret game that Nintendo has been teasing since a few days ago from their investors meeting, where they basically told us there's a game that's going to come out that's unannounced in 2019, the fiscal year of 2019, meaning starting this April, that is a game that would delight Nintendo fans. It was also said that there's going to be a game that would fit Nintendo's online program, so I'm thinking it could be two different games. So let's first focus on whatever that online game could be. Now, first we should say that it's possible that these could be the same game, but I have a feeling, since they were referring to multiple games here, that these two games are probably two different games in and of themselves. So, what would be a game that would fit Nintendo's online program that we can kind of guess could come out in 2019 that hasn't been announced yet? One possibility could maybe be that rumored Star Fox Grand Prix game. Retro Studios is now working on Metroid Prime 4, which to me suggests that they are now done developing whatever they have been developing. Maybe the rumor is true and Star Fox Grand Prix is real, and that game's gonna be announced this year. It could kind of make sense. That game is supposed to be like a racing game in space where you fly around and shoot and have hub worlds and bosses, so it could be kind of like an action-packed racer. That seems like it could be something that could be really good for online multiplayer. Maybe that's it. It's also possible it could be an all-new IP, at which point I'm not really sure what we could predict, because if there's no other previous game, it's gonna be hard to kind of figure out what that could be. So I'm not entirely sure. I kind of like the idea of Star Fox Grand Prix being an online action racer. That could be something that could be really cool. So I guess we'll find out whenever that game is revealed, assuming it is revealed sometime this year. But now let's focus on the big one. The big one, this game that supposedly will delight Nintendo fans. Now, it's possible this could just be any game from Nintendo, but I personally feel like when they say this, they're insinuating that there's a fan demand for this particular game. I'm thinking that this game has to be something that fans have been kind of asking for, and there's tons of games like that. There's F-Zero, there's Animal Crossing, there's all sorts of games that we've been asking for, but I don't think it's a game that is like a really big mainstream game that's guaranteed to sell over 10 million. It may, we don't know what it is, but what I mean is I don't think it's a sequel to anything like that, because currently every sequel to every game that's guaranteed to sell millions beyond, because that's what they've done in the past, have already been announced, like Smash and Pokemon and Animal Crossing. So I don't really think that this game is something that is huge in terms of for the investors necessarily, but it could be, you never really know. It's probably something that fans have been requesting, though. That's what I'm kind of thinking, because Nintendo feels the need to say it's something that would delight us. So what could that be? Something we've been waiting for a very long time. A Metroid game could be it. We do know that Metroid Prime 4 has been delayed, but there are the rumors about Metroid Prime Trilogy HD. Supposedly it's already done, and it was going to come out in the first half of 2019, but that hasn't happened yet. It hasn't been announced, so maybe Nintendo pulled it up so it could come out at a later date closer to Metroid Prime 4, or at least later this year. It's possible that Nintendo could be referring to Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, because that would soften the blow from the Metroid Prime 4 delay. But at the end of the day, Prime Trilogy is a remaster, and I highly doubt that this remaster is completely built from the ground up and all new and a really big exciting thing. It's a remaster, so I feel like Nintendo wouldn't be hyping up a remaster in this sort of context, so I feel like it's probably something else. Another possibility could be Pikmin 4. There are quite a few Pikmin fans out there that have been waiting for Pikmin 4. Shigeru Miyamoto has mentioned it a couple times in the last few years. Supposedly the game has been near completion since 2015, so you have to think that game is bound to be ready at some point, so maybe that could be the game that Nintendo is referring to. Definitely a possibility. Another likelihood actually could be maybe Zelda. Now, I don't mean 3D Zelda, I mean 2D Zelda. It's been a few years. Breath of the Wild came out in 2017, and A Link Between Worlds came out a few years before that, so it might be the case that we're finally getting around to that time where we should be getting a new 2D Zelda. So maybe that's going to be announced this year, and it could be coming out, and that could be the game that Nintendo's referring to that would delight fans. Yeah, the Zelda fans would like to see that. It's about time. That might fit the bill. Another possibility could be a 2D Metroid game. I do think that is in the works. After Samus Returns, the Mercury Steam team seemed to be really liked by Nintendo. It was suggested that maybe they could work on the next 2D Metroid game, so maybe that's in the works and that's maybe what they're referring to. And that same argument for that kind of applies to why they could also maybe be referring to Metroid Prime Trilogy HD, because it'd be a Metroid game that would delight Nintendo fans, especially the ones that were disappointed by the Metroid Prime 4 delay. That's also a possibility. but I'm thinking it might be something else. Something crazy. Something that you might think I'm crazy for even suggesting. And it's not even necessarily a super calculated prediction here. Call it maybe a gut feeling or hope. Just an optimistic guess. But I feel like it deserves to be mentioned. Not the Mother 3 localization, but yes, something along those lines. A new Mother game, a new Earthbound game, or maybe even a Mother 3 remake. Maybe something more along the lines of what Mother 3 would have been if it wasn't cancelled for the N64 and then redone for the Game Boy Advance. Maybe we will get to see Mother 2 or Earthbound 2 or however you want to call it in 3D. That would be amazing. Or maybe they're redoing Mother 3 and it's getting localized and we're going to see it with a whole new graphical style, something along the lines of Octopath Traveler, the HD 2D style. That's also maybe a possibility, and I think that's something that could be really cool, and it would kind of make sense. Why would it make sense? Well, it is something that would delight fans. There has been an outcry for it. It's an outcry that Nintendo has acknowledged on several occasions.
Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3! How about this instead?
For years, we've been begging for a Mother 3 localization, and supposedly at one point it was going to happen back on the Wii U. Emily Rogers reported on the rumor quite some time ago, and she's gotten a lot of flack for it, but if you look at everything else she's reported, she's gotten it right. She was talking about the Nintendo Switch, she was talking about Mario Rabbids, she was talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so maybe she wasn't wrong about the Mother 3 localization, or maybe she was simply misled a little bit. Maybe her information was just a little bit off. Maybe the script was being localized for Mother 3 because they were redoing entirely the game for the Nintendo Switch. How crazy would that be? Of course, I'm hyping things up. This is just an optimistic guess. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it more than just a grain of salt. Don't really believe this unless you also maybe have that kind of gut feeling as well. But that's just a guess of what could maybe be the game that Nintendo is teasing here. It could also be everything else I said, or something else entirely. What do you guys think? Could it be a Mother 3 game, Earthbound 2 remade, or just the localization? Could it maybe be a 2D Metroid, 2D Zelda, Pikmin 4, something else altogether, Star Fox Grand Prix? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.